How's it going? Welcome to Blockchain Tech and Finance Knows. Here, I have some articles I found interesting today to read from. If you're on the YouTube side, please do subscribe, turn on the bell notifications here to the YouTube side, as I'm streaming this on Twitch, Facebook, DLive TV, Trovo, YouTube, and Twitter. So I can see your chats in there. So if you want to chat live, I'll give shout outs and answer things as best I can. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice. Please do your own research in all of these articles. And I have all these articles in the source links on the recaps of these daily episodes. All right, so I'm going to spin up the first article here. And what do we have here? A variety of different articles between blockchain, technology, finance, cryptocurrency, stock, news like that. So this first article I have here is from CoinDesk in the market section by Omkar Godbol. Bitcoin climbs above 47,000 as stocks fall and investors eye inflation price. A reduced probability of a regulatory clampdown on crypto markets seems to be cushioning Bitcoin from the instability of traditional markets. Bitcoin is pushing higher despite classic risk off action in traditional markets. The cryptocurrency's resilience has raised investors' hopes for a stellar rally in October. The cryptocurrency was trading 8% higher on the day near 47,400. The broader crypto market is also positive, with native cryptocurrencies of smart contract blockchains like VeChain, Tezos, and Elrond gaining more than 8%. Ethereum's Tether traded 7% higher at $3,245 per Ethereum. S&P 500 E-mini futures, meantime, are nursing a loss, indicating a lower opening for the benchmark stock index. The dollar index, which tracks the value of the greenback against major fiat currencies, is trading just short of the 9-month high of 94.50 to reach Thursday. Reduced probability of a regulatory clampdown on crypto markets seems to be cushioning Bitcoin from the instability of traditional markets. On Thursday, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell told Congress that the central bank had no intention to ban cryptocurrencies, including stablecoins. Powell's comments came a day after U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler reiterated support for Bitcoin futures-based exchange-traded funds (ETF). The sentiment of the crypto community appears quite bullish, with several analyst traders referring to October as October on Twitter, a newly coined slang representing expectations for a price rally this month. After all, October is a seasonally bullish period in Bitcoin's recent stability amid stock market losses, and China's blanket ban on virtual currency businesses is reminiscent of the cryptocurrency's resilience in the face of the negative news seen just before the beginning of the bull run from $10,000 in September to in October 2020. A year ago, Bitcoin remained locked in the range 10,000 to 11,000 throughout September and early October, despite a notable pullback in the S&P 500. The cryptocurrency absorbed multiple negative news like exchange hacks and the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission's charges against the then major crypto exchange BitMEX. What followed was a stellar 6-month bull run to 64,800. It remains to be seen yet if history will repeat itself while rising inflation expectations across the globe and falling real or inflation-adjusted bond yields are supportive of a renewed bull run. The Fed's impending taper or scaling back of stimulus may slow down that extent. Last month, the U.S. Central Bank signaled that the taper would begin in the final quarter and might end by mid-2020, assuming there are no new economic shocks. Fears of a faster Fed taper may grip markets, bringing pain for asset prices. In general, the U.S. core personal consumption expenditure data due at 12:30 UTC today blows past expectations. According to the CNBC, the Fed's preferred gauge of inflation could show moderation in August after rising 3.6% year on year on both June and July. Analysts at TD Securities oversee an unchanged reading. The core PCE price index appears to have risen more than the core CPI in August, an estimated 0.26%. Oh, what happened here? I'm not sure why that dropped out. What happened there? Um, According to CNBC, the Fed's preferred gauge for inflation could show moderation in August after rising 3.6% year on year in both June and July. Analysts at TD Securities foresee an unchanged reading. The price, the core PCE price index appears to have risen more than the core CPI in August, an estimated 0.26% versus 0.10, boosted by the data from the PPI. The YOY change likely remained high at 3.6%, TD Securities analysts said, according to FX Street. So this data released today shows Eurozone inflation rose 3.4% on an annual basis in September, hitting the highest reading since September 2008. That's a little bit about the Bitcoin climbs above 47K as stocks fall and investors eye inflation on the market. So it's a little mix up, mashup on the news there. Okay, I'm going to spin up this next article here. If you're on the YouTube side, please do subscribe, turn on the bell notifications here to Blockchain Tech and Finance News. I do this at best triangly every day. And again, I will have all of these articles on the recaps on the YouTube and the Twitch side. The Twitch ones expire, but the YouTube stay permanently. So So this is from CoinDesk also. This is in the policy section by Jamie Crowley. El Salvador mines first Bitcoin with volcanic energy. So I find this very interesting. Almost 22% of the country's power market is geothermal. El Salvador has officially mined the first Bitcoin using volcanic energy, as President revealed. President Nayib Bukele shared a screenshot of a mined Bitcoin on Twitter, calling it officially the first Bitcoin mining the volcano node. Nice name. Nice name. The news followed the Salvadorian president's announcement earlier this week that the country was taking its first steps towards harnessing volcanic energy for Bitcoin mining. Following the approval by El Salvador's Congress for the adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender in June, Bukele, I don't know, I'll say Naib, said he had instructed state-owned geothermal electric company La Geo to allow Bitcoin miners to tap the country's volcanic resources, with 20 potentially active volcanoes, according to volcanodiscovery.com. According to volcanodiscovery.com, which account for almost 22% of the country's energy supply, El Salvador's harnessing of geothermal energy could provide an answer to the hunt for a reliable, clean energy source to power Bitcoin mining. So buy some Bitcoin. All right. So I found that very interesting. Very short article there, but cool nonetheless. From CoinDesk. Spin up the next article and keep reading. This one I found very interesting. I found this the other day that tied into last episode's news article. It kind of carries over in here among the Visa integrated. So this is from Cointelegraph. Microsoft wins U.S. patent for Ledger Independent Token Service. Microsoft's new device designed to allow developers to write code for managing tokens in a manner that is blockchain agnostic. American tech giant Microsoft has won a blockchain-related patent for techniques for implementing a cross-chain token management system. The United States Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, granted the patent to Microsoft's subsidiary Microsoft Technology Licensing on Tuesday. Filed in February 2019, the patent describes a ledger-independent token service, or a software service enabling individuals and organizations to create and manage tokens across multiple distributed ledger networks and platforms. Examples of such platforms in the patent filing include major blockchain platform Ethereum, IBM-backed Hyperledger Fabric, JP Morgan's enterprise blockchain platform Quorum, R3 Corda, and ChainCore. The described computer system aims to provide the user with one or more token templates, with each of these corresponding to a type of physical or digital asset. The Ledger Independent Token Service is designed to act as a single interface for managing the lifecycle of tokens across multiple blockchains, allowing developers to write code for transacting and managing tokens in a manner that is agnostic of the underlying distributed ledger networks. Microsoft wants to use Ethereum blockchain to fight piracy. That's a different article here, so that sounds a little interesting. According to the patent's authors, the described system makes development more efficient for emerging business use cases that involve crossing ledger boundaries. Microsoft has been actively involved in blockchain-related development in recent years, filing a wider number of patent applications related to the cryptocurrency industry. Last year, the tech giant filed a patent for a cryptocurrency system enabling individuals to mine crypto using their body activity data in an effort to remove the need for specialized mining devices. That's interesting. So that's from Helen Parts, writer for Cointelegraph, on Microsoft wins U.S. patent for Ledger Independent Token Service. And I will surely be looking into that most definitely. Sounds very interesting. Cool. All right, I'm going to grab out this nice article here. Oh, it's only going to let me read one free article a day. Is that what this one's telling me? I'll skip it if so. Yeah, I get it. Some of these will give you IP a free article read a day or so often or something until you subscribe. And on to this next one. Switzerland National Postal Service to debut crypto stamp on Polygon. I found this very interesting because what is it? Yeah. Switzerland basically, if you don't know, is basically all digital. I don't even think they deal with cash anymore so much. So this makes sense to me, most definitely. Switzerland National Postal Service to debut crypto stamp on Polygon. The Swiss crypto stamp is a digital collectible linked to a traditional physical stamp issued by Swiss Post. The National Postal Service of Switzerland is working to bridge the gap between physical stamps and the digital cryptocurrency industry by introducing tradable digital stamps. On September 20th, the Swiss Post officially announced the upcoming launch of the Swiss crypto stamp, a digital collectible linked to a physical stamp issued by the Postal Service worth 8.9 Swiss francs. The Swiss crypto stamp will provide a digital representation for a physical stamp and will be stored on a blockchain. Each design forms a non-fungible token and is stored in the Polygon blockchain, a spokesperson for the Swiss Post told Cointelegraph. Buyers will be able to discover a digital twin of their physical stamp online through a QR code printed next to the physical stamp. The crypto stamp's image will show one of 13 possible designs and can be collected, exchanged, and traded online, the Swiss Post said. According to a representative for Swiss Post, customers will be able to exchange or sell their crypto stamps on platforms such as major non-fungible token NFT marketplace OpenSea. Swiss Post only sells the Swiss crypto stamp. Trading it takes place separately from Swiss Post, the spokesperson added. The upcoming Swiss Post crypto stamp will apparently provide an experience somewhat similar to NFTs, as some of the stamps will have a rare design. Some are more common, while others are much rarer and more coveted. There are 65,000 copies of the most common digital design, but just 50 are the rarest. One thing is clear: the Swiss crypto stamp means collecting, exchanging, and trading stamps has gone digital too, the Swiss Post wrote. The Swiss crypto stamp will be launched in late November with 175,000 such stamps coming to selected Swiss Post branches on November 25th. According to the announcement, the Swiss crypto stamp will be the first stamp of its kind ever launched in Switzerland. Switzerland is not the first country to experiment with blockchain technology to provide digital stamp collectibles. In May 2021, Austria's postal service announced plans to incorporate NFC chips in its Crypto Stamp 3.0, the third iteration of its limited edition NFT postage stamp collectible series. Austria released its first ever crypto stamp in 2019. Well, that's really cool. Nice. I love collecting stamps. Stamps are really cool. I collect different ones. It'd be even cool if there are NFTs attached to those physical stamps. All right, spin up this next article here. So if you're on the YouTube side, please do subscribe, turn on the bell notifications here to blockchain, tech, and finance news. Next article we have up is why these stocks could be big winners over the next decade. And reading through the article here, I'll get this ready. So this is from Brian Sozzi. Brian over at Yahoo Finance. Anchor editor at large. Why these stocks could be big winners for the decade. It's time to push aside these high growth tech stocks you have been obsessed with these 5 years and begin rotating into value names with an eye towards making large sums of money over the next decade. There's basically a good word from investing pioneer Rob Arnett, founder and chairman of research affiliates of sub-advisor of bond giant PIMCO. The market fully priced value stocks Arnett said, are not said on Yahoo Finance Live. Arnott comes armed with his typically thorough research to back up his claims. In June of this year, notes Arnott, the rebound in value stocks that started in September 2020 gave back over half its gains as Delta virus concerns ratcheted up, while flows into value stocks has improved a bit since. Arnott argues valuations remain very compelling. So we got performance data and value growth here from 63 to 2021. I got these parts here, little dips in the marketplaces. Value versus growth. In a new research paper, although Arnott points out that value stocks not only trade in the cheapest decile in history, they are at the bottom half of the cheapest decile. The relative discount for U.S.-centric value stocks are wider than the discount observed during the height of the tech bubble. Arnott thinks that discount for value stocks will shrink as we move beyond the pandemic globally and economic growth ramps back up. When most liquid assets classes are set to deliver a negative or near zero real return, value stocks stand out as the only asset class likely to generate 5 to 10% real return over the coming decade. The opportunity to buy value stocks may be short-lived, and we may wait decades for an opportunity for a similar scale, his latest research contends. Meanwhile, Arnott believes tech stocks, long the market darlings, are primed to disappoint investors. Many more assets, including the most expensive tech stocks, are also priced to generate a negative real return. Even if those companies are able to achieve the lofty growth the market currently expects, explains the research paper. All right, so that's from a little brief on the Yahoo Finance about stocks, basically like discount stock time. I'm going to grab up this next article. If you're on the YouTube side, please do subscribe, turn on bell notifications here to blockchain, tech, and finance news. And let's go right on to this next article. This is from markets from CNBC, from Elliot Smith, writer in the marketplace of CNBC. European markets par losses but remain subdued as inflation fears weigh. Global markets have been roiled by fears of high inflation, slowing growth, and rising rates. These are the key points. This article: Eurozone inflation in September rose 3.4% on an annual basis. Official data showed Friday the highest reading since September 2008 and up from 3% in August. So London, European bank markets pulled back slightly on Friday, tracking U.S. and Asian counterparts as global stocks start the fourth quarter on the back foot. So we got some stocks here and change. The pan-European stock 600 fell 0.2% by mid-afternoon, recouping much of its earlier losses, having been down as much as 1.7% as the start of trading. Banks slipped 1.1% to lead losses, while travel and leisure stocks jumped 2.3%. The European Blue Chip Index closed September down 3.4%, ending a 7-month winning streak. Shares of the Asia Pacific also retreated during Friday's trade, with Japan's Nikkei 225 dropping more than 2% to lead losses. Mainland Chinese and Hong Kong markets were closed for public holidays. Stateside U.S. futures pointed to modest gains at Friday's open on Wall Street in early pre-market trading, reversing their earlier course after the S&P 500 suffered its worst month since March 2020. So global markets have been roiled by fears of persistent high inflation, slowing growth, and rising rates. The Eurozone inflation in September rose 3.4% on an annual basis. Official data showed Friday the highest reading since September 2008 and up from 3% in August. Soaring energy costs accounted for much of the surge. However, shipping and production bottlenecks also began to bite, leading durable goods price 2.3% higher than in August. So we can watch this little video here.
Make back-to-school breakfast easy.
Ad plays. In the U.S., keep reading. In the U.S., investors are awaiting the core personal consumption expenditures price index, the Federal Reserve's preferred policy guidance metrics, which is expected to rise 0.2% in August and 3.5% annually.
Difficult next few. Well, I think central banks will have a very difficult next few quarters. To be honest, for most of the last 2 or 3 decades, central banks have had a relatively easy task, because every time we've come up with a crisis or a problem, they have been free to ease policy considerably, because most of the inflation forces exogenously were downward. So they could kind of ease against that kind of downward disinflationary pressure. The problem that they have now is that a lot of the exogenous forces at the moment are inflationary. You know, whether it's supply chains, whether it's stimulus, etc. A lot of the exogenous forces are inflationary at the moment. So it makes central banks' job a lot more difficult going forward. And to be honest, it probably raises the risk of a policy error. Now, the problem is we don't know which way that policy error is. Is it to do too much, i.e. to keep stimulus going for too long, or is it to try to tighten policy with all the inflation around and risk choking off the recovery? So the risk of a policy error is definitely getting higher at the moment.
Jim, it's a really interesting point that we don't exactly know which direction that policy error could be in at this point. Talking to equity investors over the last 24 hours or so, the message to me seems to be, where does the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield go from here? That seems to be the number one question for equity investors, to understand where to go, how to position. So what's your take, quite simply? Where do you see the U.S. 10-year going?
We see the yields going higher. To be fair, we have done all through summer, and the summer months were bad for that view. We think the summer was heavily influenced by technicals in the Treasury market. The Treasury wasn't issuing very much, and QE was massively taking up all the supply of Treasuries. That technical is starting to normalize now, and obviously with QE ending, the technical should go the other way to some degree. So we think yields will go higher. And when you throw in the inflation into the mix, that supports our view. So our year-end target for 10-year treasuries as a house is about 1.8% now, but it probably continues to go higher into 22.
Jim.
So, Eurozone finance ministers will meet Monday to discuss the economic fallout from soaring energy prices amid concern that they could impact the bloc's recovery and disproportionately affect the poorest. In Germany, the conservative CDU CSU bloc is set to hold coalition talks with the liberal Free Democrats FDP on Sunday. Reuters reported Thursday, citing CDU-CSU sources. The conservative bloc narrowly lost out to the center-left Social Democratic Party SDP in last weekend's federal election, but both sides are seeking alliances with other parties in hopes of forming a coalition government. In the data front, German retail sales climbed 1.1% month on month in August. Official figures revealed on Friday, slightly below a Reuters consensus forecast of 1.5%. In corporate news, BMW lifted its annual profit forecast in an ad hoc statement on Thursday to between 9.5% and 10.5%, up from 7% to 9%. The German automaker said higher prices outweighed the effects of the global semiconductor shortage and other supply chain problems. British pub chain JD Wetherspoon reported earnings on Friday morning, while Daimler and Credit Suisse both held extraordinary general meetings. In terms of individual share price movement, British e-commerce company THG fell 6.4% to the bottom of the Stoxx 600. German pharmaceutical group Sartorius dropped 5.2% after the Societe Generale downgraded the stock and cut its target price, citing increasing cost. At the top of the index, French utility EDF climbed 6% after French Prime Minister Jean Castex so I apologize if I'm butchering the name, but said Thursday that February's electricity price increase would be capped at 4%. So it's an interesting article I found interesting here. I got one more article here to read for the day. We're going to be closing out the stream. If you want to chat, you can leave your comments or chat in there. Again, I have all these articles in the recap on the description box below on the YouTube side and Twitch side. After they expire, it stays permanently on the Twitch side, though. Let's go grab this last article up here about the stream. Let's go. So I typically do one piece from I do like 1, 2, or 3 pieces from cryptocurrencies, a couple pieces from blockchain, a few 3 or 4 pieces from stock and finance and technology. Closing out the stream here. So I've got one from technology here. Amazon announces the in the technology sector from BBC News, David Malloy, technology reporter, writer for the BBC here. Amazon announces Astro, the home robot. Amazon is launching Astro, its first household robot powered by its Alexa smart home technology. The company said it can be remote controlled when not at home, so to check in on pets, people, or home security. It can also patrol a home automatically and send owners a notification if it detects something unusual. Amazon said it was more than Alexa with wheels and had been programmed with a range of movements and expressions to give it personality. It demonstrated asking Astro to beatbox, and the robot bopped its head and made expressions while playing hip-hop beats. Amazon was also keen to preempt privacy concerns. It said Astro can be set with out-of-bound zones, so it cannot go into certain areas, or it can be set up to do not disturb. It also features buttons to turn off cameras and microphones, though it loses its ability to move around when they are switched off. The small robot also comes equipped with an extendable periscope camera that pops up from its head. Amazon showed an example of using it to check if a gas hob had been left on after leaving the house. It's in patrol mode. It's got a face screen on it. What is this? It's got extender camera arm. Technology. It uses an extendable periscope camera. The technology and retail giant suggested that a $1,000 robot could be a help to the elderly. Astro is a bold move by Amazon, but a logical step to give its expertise in robots and desire to become more integrated into consumers' daily lives, said Ben Wood, chief analyst at CCS Insight. Unlike some rivals, Amazon is willing to bring highly experimental products to the market and see how customers react, he said. Yeah, there's a new game that just came out, New World, that Amazon released through Microsoft, and it's getting a lot of mixed reviews. Um, why Amazon? Okay, anyways. Offering products resembling something from a science fiction novel positions Amazon as an innovative company in the eyes of consumers and investors, he said. The robot will ship later this year, Amazon said, but only in the US. And after the initial limited run, price will go up to $1,449.99, it said. It's basically like $1,500 item. I believe the Astro robot will sell out in minutes when it becomes available in the US market, Mr. Wood said. I'm just gutted that it won't be shipping in the UK in the foreseeable future. Well, most likely it'll be sold out in the US and then auctioned off by scalpers on the eBay market, probably, to the people in the UK. Sure. Amazon wants a slice of the robotics market, boldly stating that it believes all homes will have one in 5 to 10 years. It wants Astro to be that must-have new member of the household, and there's no denying that the little wheeled robot is pretty cute, although the periscope that pops out of its head is a little creepy. But we have seen other cute humanoid robots, such as Pepper, fail to make a mark. This is largely because the price tag means it will be a toy for the rich for some time to come. While Amazon was keen to convince us that for that you get more than Alexa on wheels. There's a typo in here. It was hard to see a compelling use case for this other than to curb that ever-present paranoia that you left the oven on. But building robots is hard. And if the home robotics market is ever going to take off, people will have to be convinced to spend a lot of money. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, but it doesn't mean these bots aren't going to sell out, though. The first foray offers Amazon a chance to hone its skills, and arguably there is no company already as firmly embedded into our homes as Amazon. The company is known for occasionally making unusual smart home tech, such as its Alexa-controlled microwave from 2018. At last year's event, Amazon turned heads with a flying indoor alarm drone. The always home cam launches from its deployment bay. If it detects a potential intrusion, it can fly around a home to check with a video feed, but it was not launched, and more details were released no more details were released in the past year. Yeah, no more details than Dr. Disrespect being banned from Twitch, right? Instead, Amazon on Tuesday said it was opening up the invite list for early adopters to buy the drone on a limited basis, but it did not give dates for widespread ability. Flying house drone. I mean, this makes sense. This could make sense. So surely, right there. Among the other devices unveiled at the event was the Amazon Glow, a video calling device that has the ability to project an interactive touchscreen on the floor or a table in front of it. That's cool. The idea is to engage children during long video calls as they can play games or draw on the 19-inch projected screen while on the video call. Relatives on the other end can also interact with the projection through a tablet app. In one example, Amazon said children could scan a favorite toy using the Glow's camera and turn it into a jigsaw puzzle to reassemble. Other new products included announced a Disney-themed Alexa version featuring the voices of Disney characters to be rolled out next year, updates to the Amazon Halo workout band, a new model called Halo View, a new model of Ring Smart alarm with a built-in Wi-Fi router, a paid virtual security guard Ring subscription which allows a remote operator to check cameras triggered by motion detection. The event also coincided with the launch of Amazon's much-delayed video game New World. Here we go. Its second attempt at a big budget title after the high-profile failure of its shooter Crucible last year. Unlike Crucible, however, New World received some favorable feedback during a popular beta test in July, which attracted hundreds of thousands of players. And that is that for this past article about how Amazon launches Astro, the home robot, among a whole variety of other things. I'm going to close out this stream here today. I do appreciate you all watching. Let's go and put this back over here. If you're on the YouTube side, please do subscribe. Turn on the bell notifications here to blockchain, tech, and finance news. I try and do this at best every single day, except for the weekends. I don't do this on weekends. unless there's actually something very, very important to read about. I'll be back on Monday. Cheers. Peace be with y'all. Have a great and kind, safe weekend yourself. Stay well, stay safe wherever you are. Cheers. Ciao. Onomashigas means peace be with you. Take care. Stay safe once more.